So we've been deep into identifying your purpose in life and who you are and what your inner purpose is. And for everybody, that's not done. And for most all of us, it's never done. I mean, it's something that it's not a one and done. It's something to constantly be revisiting. But I am certain that you've all seen glimpses of it. And as I said before break, a lot of that is a choice. And I firmly believe that if you get this part of the thing done, the rest of it's pretty easy. If you can come to grips with and accept and choose who you are, then the rest of the program is a piece of cake. If we're constantly wrestling in ego and wrestling in, the collective culture of what's going on and what other people think we should be doing and all that kind of stuff, then it's hard to keep a straight rudder in it, with the ups and downs of life. And you've all seen how hard it is to maintain a practice, right? So it takes something pretty strong to get us up every morning and to get us going and to keep us going on this path. Because life, we had this, was it you and I had this? Life is a series of mishaps, a series of illnesses, deaths, bankruptcies, addictions. It's a series of failures, all in you and all around you. of it, depending on how you look at it, right? It can be, but it's just life. So, how do you keep your eye on the prize in those daily things? So it's really important to get habits, the slight edge habits, every day, and I mean every day. If you miss a day a week or something, you miss a day a week. But the goal is to have something that every single day you have a basis to come back and check in on who am I. And when someone insults you, you come from who you are, not from the first thing that comes into your head is, not nice. But how do you, so a meditation practice can be something that you constantly come back to during the day, that one breath that lets you not react and respond in a way that's helpful to where you want to go and who you want to be. Not just the reaction of, they deserved it, I didn't deserve it, because it's really just what is. So, I guess I can go over here, right? Can you guys see these over here? Mm-hmm. So, create clarity, vision, intention, and commitment. And how do those work it, okay? Meditation helps us get the clarity. A daily practice of meditation helps us get clarity. Finding out my purpose in life helps me get clarity on what's important, what I should be focusing on, right? And I want my vision to come from there, from my purpose, and from who I am, and create my vision. I want it to be organic, internally generated. The last thing that is going to be useful to you is to have society's vision of, the second home and the kids in private school and whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is for you and where you came from, it's not sustainable. What's sustainable is organic. Who you are and what is important to you. And to come from that purpose and clarity and creating a vision. And first I have the vision, a thought, and then, boom, I put a vision board out, I put a life list out, I put my vision in writing. And I may not announce it to the world, but I'm going to announce it to a small group of what I'm about and what I'm doing. And I'm going to set it down there for myself to look at. That this is what I'm about. And I'm going to commit to going back and looking at it every year. Well, what am I going to do? So, vision and intention. What I intend is like the miracle morning. We're going to go to Tanzania, Africa. My miracle morning is not going to be perfect on a 30-hour flight to Amsterdam, but I will do it. I'll be doing some yoga in the aisle, or I'll be stretching in the seat, and I get nervous on takeoff. I'll be meditating on takeoff. I'll be reading, I'll be journaling, I'll have the intention of putting my mind in the state of mind of creation, love, and light. Can I put my mind in that thing? And every day is not going to be, I may have a 10-minute miracle morning. You know, or what 6 minute he says in the book, right? Mm-hmm. 6 minute. Have something, have a go-to that you can, even on the day when the house is on fire and something, you can do something, okay? And come up with the intention. And then commitment. Life gets good when you can live up to your commitments. When you can start having a commitment, willing to make them, and you can own them. And it doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean, I said I'm going to do a marathon, then I broke my leg and I couldn't do it. It doesn't mean perfection. It means then you recommit and you come back to it and you recommit. But I have a commitment, it's my word, and here's what I'm going to do. It doesn't mean I'll never change it, but when it's there, it means something. It's like, I committed to doing this. So a test for you guys this next 30 days is, can you commit to doing something and actually do it? Right? Commitment. Because, this one's small. Right? Marriage is a commitment. Love is a commitment. To be able to take that on for, I'm on my 29th year, whatever. I've seen some friends that just had 50 years of marriage. There's a lot of ups and downs in that, and a lot of not seeing eye to eye, and a lot of other things. But commitment's what can get you through that. So here, path of development, we're going to look at who I am, where I am, and this is part of your writing. You're going to do more, just exactly where you are in all the different categories of your life. Health-wise, habits-wise, financially, spiritually. We got 17 categories, whatever, of things that we've written to come up with. Where am I? I can't go there if I don't know where I am. It's important to get flat with it, and we aren't that honest with ourselves. That I'm 20 pounds overweight, or that I'm this, or that I'm that, or that anyway. So it's get flat with yourself on, I got a drinking problem. Okay, I drink, too much. Whatever it is, get flat with yourself on where I am. Then we set the vision. Start with your vision board and your life list, or where you want to go. Then we got 2 points. Right? I got who I am and where I am, and I know who I am, I know what my inner purpose is. And I know where I want to go. From there we chart the path. We have intention, commitment, we have habits, we have outer purposes. Outer purpose is what we do, it's our doings. Right? I teach, I sell real estate, I estimate, whatever I do, it's my outer purpose. I do things at church, and those outer purposes, my outer doings. What's really key is, can I manifest my inner purpose in my outer purpose? Is it consistent? Can I be consistent? I find that even as a real estate developer, I can manifest my inner purpose and my vision of the world in my outer purpose. But some of you may find that you can't. That what you're doing is just inconsistent. It's just not who I am and what I am. Yes, it's paying the bills, but long term, I need to have a different doing. I need to come up with something different. A lot of you, most of you will find, you know what? I can deliver on this inner purpose at the coffee shop when I'm getting gas. I can just be kind to somebody. I can just be present with the person. That would be awesome. You know, and in anything, I can make it a little bit better. But that's a journey that each of you will have to take. And some of you will have a vision that your outer doings doesn't fit. You have a vision that's, you know, you may have to change your outer doing just to meet your vision. Right? And it may be a matter of time. So we'll come up with that. And then from there, we'll chart out on the goals. What's a 5-year plan? And then what's the first step? What's a 1-year plan? To get into that. Chunk it out. That's the toughest one. From there, you can sprout a vision. And in my experience, once I know this and this, these 2 points, I call the path in between, the path of development. That part's easy. You got it when you know what you got to do. Your body will intuit. Why a vision board? You put it up where you can see it. And your body, you just kind of work towards it. It just kind of, maybe not every little thing on it or everything, but you put it up where you see it and your mind works on things. Your mind is working all the time. The universe is working all the time. And what do you want it to be working on? Would you like it to be working on your inner purpose and what you see as good in life and what you want to create? Then you got to get it out there and give your mind that to chew on. Give it that. So the other question, the question I'll ask you is, culture has us. We do certain things. We go to college and we get the job. We get the house. We have the kids. We get the car. We get the second home. When we have all that stuff, we get to be this. It gives us this thing. We get to be it. What is it? Freedom. We get to be whatever it is. That's what's culture, the bill of goods that culture has sold us. That we need to do all these things and have it, and sometime in the future we get to be. What we're espousing in here is, you figure all this out, and you tell me, when you have this, who you get to be. Free. Give me another word. When you have your vision, who will you get to be?
Happy.
Happy. Free. Happy. Words.
Generous.
What is it?
Generous.
Generous.
Helpful.
Helpful.
Intent.
Intent.
Comfortable.
Comfortable. Anybody else? Everybody's got a word, or don't bother.
Complete.
Complete. Steve?
Unlimited.
Unlimited. Devin?
Safe.
Safe. Sam?
Visionary.
Visionary.
Mindful.
Mindful. Holiday?
Free.
Free. You gave us one, right, Mike? Emron?
Relaxed.
Relaxed. Who else?
Rich.
Rich. No. All the way from Canada. Rich. Mom. What would rich give you to be?
Well, free, ultimately.
Free.
That one's sad.
Free.
It's just pronounced. Grateful.
Grateful.
Secure.
Secure. You have them all right now. Inner purpose and being is something that none of those material things are going to give you anyway. And you can have those now. There's no one in here that's going to starve to death. Everybody in here has got a roof over their head. And if you need a room, come stay at the house. Not for very long. But those things are states of mind that material things are not going to give you. And if you spend this amount of time, all these doings and havings, number one is you may die before you even get there. Right? Anyone in this room could be dead a year from now. And none of us know. right? I mean, people get letters all the time, or notices. So you may never get there. And then I would say, if you come from generosity, gratefulness, visionary, some of the words I heard, that's how you get these things. That's how they happen, coming from there, being that way every day. It's not from tenseness, driving, beating on things, screwing somebody out of every fucking nickel you can. That's not how it happens. It happens from when I release things, I see things that where nobody else sees. The foreclosure happens, I don't freak out because I know there's somebody getting a buy. There's something happening. There's always an ebb and a flow. And what happens if we're all tied in and our mind is tight, we don't see the opportunities that are out there. And we don't act to them. It's like, I didn't have that video, so I won't. But it's the dancing bear video that Larry did. A lot of you have seen that. There's this. Maybe I'll bring it in and show it.
There's like a bunch of people passing around a basketball.
Yeah, you see.
And
Don't tell, because I may show it. I probably should have teed it up. But anyway, we won't see the opportunities that are out there. And also, this vision that we have may not be what actually happens. Other things will come up along the way. What does John Lennon say? Life is how it happens when we're busy making other plans. I mean, this vision is great, but it may not be exactly what happens. There may be different things come up in our life, health-wise, opportunity-wise, whatever, that we can't even imagine today, that come up. But our openness and our security and our freedom and being in everyday life is what lets us see those things, and often lets us take the opportunity. Because if we feel greatly insecure, we may not seize the opportunity that is our freedom. Because we're too conservative. And there's nothing wrong with being a little conservative either. And, paying your bills, and I'm not espousing that. But mindfulness and presence gives us those things. So we espouse, be generous, be free, be grateful now. Be mindful now. That no amount of houses, cars, trips are going to give you those things. But if you're that, with vision, intention, commitment, good habits, you'll take actions and you'll have things. They'll come. And you're already happy. Who do you want to deal with? Someone that's happy, grateful, and generous? Or do you want to deal with someone who's got their fist so much around getting the money, or getting the house, or getting the whatever it is, even if it's a good cause for someone else, you're so much around it that you're no one to be around. You're not someone that anybody wants to be around. You want to be someone that someone will come and talk to you about a problem that they're having. Or when you're at a meeting, you'll actually hear what matters. Not just what you want to hear. You'll actually hear what the other person is coming up with, and you help solve their problem, and yours gets solved in the same thing. So, it's not getting to be something then. It's finding your inner purpose and being that now. And there's nothing wrong with all the visions. Come from generosity. Affluence increases influence. And can increase your generosity and can increase the difference. It isn't going to do anybody any good just to have you poor. I don't believe in a zero-sum game where I take it away from someone else. I think there's more, the pie just can get bigger. And so, awesome. Take it on. But don't wait for that conclusion, that day, that thing that happens before you say you're free, secure, generous. Because when you really think about it, everybody in this room is better off than 90% of the world. If you take the whole world in, and we're going to Africa, you know, everybody in this room is better off. I don't know, I didn't research that statement, but I gotta believe that everybody in this room is better off than 90% of the world.
I think it's more.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
So where do we get off waiting to be generous, waiting to be grateful, waiting to be giving, waiting to be of service, waiting to be this? No one's going to starve to death. You might have a little more money or a little less money and a little bigger house or a little less big house or whatever when you get done. But really, as far as the state of being and your inner purpose and your vision for the world, it's likely not going to get impacted. The statistics show that over about $80,000 a year, people don't get more happy. And I've been around billionaires that are not happy. It isn't the more. Yes, there's a certain level of, can I send my kids to school? Can I, do I have groceries? Can I eat healthy? All those things. But over about 80,000, statistics show I don't get happier with money. Doesn't necessarily make me unhappy, so I'm not telling you not to go for it. But don't wait on that for that. So be that now. Then we're going to work, be mindful and present. How do we, once we get this vision up there, right? Boom. Then how do we stay present? Does that vision take us out of the now? Are we so tied up with that? And it won't be helpful if we do. We get the vision up there, we get a vision board, we get it in writing, and then we attain. The practicing mind will be very helpful in this. How do we get the vision out there and then still stay in the moment? How do we keep that practicing mind? How do we keep present? Show up, take action, be detached from results. We can have the greatest vision in the world, and if we don't take action, that's misery. We see it, we know it, but we're unable to take action. So show up, take action, and be detached from results. What's that? We've talked about it a little bit.
Give it your all and not being disappointed if you fail. Being detached. Just do what I feel is right in my heart, and whatever happens, happens.
And we'll see this in the practicing mind too. It's in that book. But it's, go out and give you a golf game your best. But you may or may not win that game. And to be involved in the process, if we're really tied into the result, it's very difficult to be present. We get into the process of it. And let the results come. Let them happen. And just stay in the process of generating wealth, right? Great, generate prosperity. Well, nothing wrong with that. Be responsible, and this is the world of either I own it or I'm a victim of it, right? So being responsible is leaving that victim. Things are happening for me, not to me. This goes back to my commitment too, but be your word. This is huge. Anybody wants to make it on a business or in anything, this is the number one thing. When you tell somebody something, they realize that it's done. If I tell this guy something, I know it's done. I don't have to worry about, maybe he decided not to do it. Maybe he didn't, or he'd come back and say something. If you want to really expand your reach, then people have to be able to depend on you. When you say you'll do something, they have to know you'll either do it or you'll let them know it didn't happen because. It's huge. And it's huge in families, it's huge in everything. And we get really sloppy with it. People get pleasing mode and they tell people things that the peer person wants to hear, and then they just go away and forget about it. That life will not be consequential. You will not make a big difference in life because everyone will say, oh, that's Imran. That's just what he's like. Oh, yeah, he said he'd do it. That's fine. I'm going to ask Mike too. One of the two of them will get it done. Or do I just say, do I know when I ask Imran that it's just done? If people can start depending on you and know when you say it, when I say chair, chair falls out. It just boom. That's how you get powerful. That's power. That's influence. And practice deep listening. Practice listening, period. Deep listening. So being my word, and then we are so tied up in the conversation in our own head that we usually don't even hear what the other person is saying. I'll just jump down, take everything in personally. Most of us are just interested in ourselves. I mean, it takes conscious effort for us to be generous and gratitude and look out for the welfare of others. Mostly, and it's wired into us, but listening is actually caring what the other person is saying, and it's felt. It's a felt thing. Somebody can tell if you're, I mean, my wife, let me tell you, she knows that I am not listening. It's a felt thing, and you can feel it when somebody's listening and not listening to you. And these are ones that we've just gone over, but be in flow. I think that service work is huge for this, to be in flow. Increase your affluence and increase your influence. So we'll work on those with your plan. Be grateful, give generously, and serve. And these three we're going to go over on the last day, but I'll just mention them. Be acceptance, drop all resistance and complaint. We did an exercise, didn't we, Steve, in the last Living in the Gap, where we spent a month or something keeping track of complaining. Amazing. Drop all complaints, take everything impersonally, embody emptiness, have beginner's mind, know nothing, be curious. So we'll, and these things are continual, it's not just a checklist. It's like, gotta go again. What was my purpose? I'm really pissed off. What was my purpose? Right? What was my vision? Constantly, because we get tied up in going in and that's why it's important to have a plan and to actually write it down and make commitments too. Because life is an up and down, ebb and flow. What questions, or where we're going, or and any of that? It's a lot there.
What do you mean by embody emptiness?
Emptiness is lacking self. It's like we look at a piece of paper, and what is the paper made up of? Well, it's made up of the sunshine and the trees and earth and all those things. It's everything except paper. It's going back and realizing I'm pure consciousness, love, and light, it's just embodying that, and it's what it allows you to do, and we'll read a book this spring called The Untethered Soul. It allows life to flow through you, because you're not dense. You're not all tense up and tight that every little insult that you get, and we all get them, and if maybe even intended, but we hear them that way, and it's, ooh, yeah. He calls it removing the thorn. Can we pull the thorn out, and can I let something just flow through me? And I have to embody emptiness to do that. I have to not be solid. And it's weird because I am solid, right? I am this, but can I let those activities just flow through me and not make either the good or the bad mean that much? Is that clear?
Yeah,
Clear
thank
enough?
you.
Yeah. Questions on this? As specific or as general? on any of it. We don't get to eat till you have some questions.
Do you have a good example of a beginner's mind? I think it's kind of a vague thing for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah. In a beginner's mind, the quote goes something like, in a beginner's mind, there's a lot of options, a lot of possibilities. In an expert's mind, there are few. So we get to the state where we already know. We know what should happen. We know this. Well, I know what Sam's like. I know what Lance is like. I know what Chris is like. I know what's going to happen. Beginner's mind is showing up open, curious, listening intently, and being open to possibility that things may roll out different. An expert's mind would be, I know what's happening. Food's very efficient. It's boom.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't remember books? Is it a book?
There's a quote, and we'll go do it on the last day. Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind.
Oh, yeah.
By, I can't pronounce Shiriki Soshi.
Suzuki Roshi?
Suzuki Roshi. It's when I just started this stuff, I read that book 12 times. I don't put it in here because it's got a Buddhist twist, and I just don't think that's necessary for what we're doing, and it isn't for everybody, so it doesn't bother me. I think it's more philosophy than religion, but it's in there, and that's a book you could put on your reading list. It's fantastic.
Can you talk a little bit about drop all resistance and that piece? I mean, drop all resistance, to set a goal to be like, well, I'm not complaining, like that's an outward action, right? Okay, I didn't complain, but the resistance is inward, right? It's inside, I feel it.
Yeah, we resist what is. We resist everything. I wrote you guys a poem last time on this, on the last session. Let's see if I can find it. I think I put it out here. Maybe the last day. I don't know where I put it. There it is. Is that the one? I can't find it. I might read it for you tomorrow. I won't spend any more time. But it's, if you just watch myself, we resist almost everything that comes at us. It's like we don't accept it originally. And I can just feel a tenseness leave me when I say it, even. We're in denial about most things. And we don't react properly a lot of times because we're resisting it. If life is just a river flowing downstream, right? I mean, we resist death. And it's inevitable. We resist what we're asked to do at work. We resist what we're asked to do at home, the dishes, the making the bed.
Mm-hmm.
If we resist, my experience is I personally resist almost everything, especially initially. When I hear it, I resist it. It's like, it wasn't what was going on in my mind. It wasn't where my train was going, and then it comes on, and I'm so intent with me that it's like, oh, can't possibly mean. And there's an immediate release when I get to, oh, he really did steal the money. It really is here. It's really happened. I need to accept it and move on. Watch yourself for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Just when anything comes along. From lunch to, want to go to Mexican? No. Want to, So the practice is dropping our resistance to things. And it doesn't mean being jello or not caring or not having big goals or whatever. But it's really, and we'll read a book called Loving What Is by Byron Katie. We don't really know what the truth is, what's really going on. We keep coming up with things in our mind about, I know what Paul's all about. I know what Nathan wants. I know what Matt's doing. I know what he meant when he said that. And when we drill down, when we get really down to it, we know very, very little about us, ourselves, and especially about other people. About what their really motivations are, what they're really up to, what they really care about, what, you know. So we'll talk a little bit about that on Monday too, her book, but yeah, Colton.
With the be, do, have, in your experience, I guess the common conception is that people who have a lot are more greedy and stuff like that. I think a lot of people would say that. When I read The Go-Giver, the perspective is the opposite. But undoubtedly there are some greedy people who
Absolutely.
probably are at the top even though they're not. So in your experience, what kind of speak on that as far as, you know, in The Go-Giver it's talking about being generous allows you to do things which then allow you to have things, but the having isn't important because it's just about the being, and then what do you think of when you see people that still find success even though they're cutthroat and that they're not very generous?
Yeah, I would say that they found one form of success. They found financial or material success. But so what? You know, if having more of something is known not to make you happier, and most likely you're not going to become generous once you get there. And there's just another way of coming from generosity, and abundance comes to givers. That it's a way of being, and when I'm willing to give, it sets karma out. If I want to have good karma to me, then I set it out. That's why I think service. Go do service work. Set my karma out. Send it out in the world. And I'm a believer in karma. That when I set my service and my good intentions and my generosity and gratitude out in the world, that it will come back. And I'm not saying it's the only way, that you couldn't get rich, because it's not true. I mean, you can. There's a lot of, just like you said, there's a lot of people that they're just good at something, and they do it, and they get rich. But it's just not the only way. Nor do I believe you have to wait. Why do I need to wait to be happy, generous, free, boom, boom? And if I'm already in the top 10% of the world, 5%, whatever it is it really plausible that when I have a little bit more, that I'll all of a sudden be generous, free, secure? In fact, there's something in one of the exercises due tomorrow that talks about having the money work for you versus you working for the money. And I believe there's a certain amount of money that sets you free, that lets you do whatever you want to do on your life list. But that over a certain amount of money, you got to show up and take care of it. You got to show, and it reduces your security and your safety and your peace of mind and everything, because you're worried about it all the time, and you can't sleep in. You can't go climb Kilimanjaro because you got a board meeting or whatever it is, So there's a part of the exercise that just come up, what is that for you? Where is it? Where is the money working for you versus over that point possibly you're working for the money? I didn't answer that directly. Did
I
hit
didn't
it?
really ask it directly, so.
No. Was that all right? Yeah, great. What else?
So, how do you become detached from results, particularly when, like in things like this, when we're trying to set goals that fulfill what we deem to be our purpose? How do you decide what's a setback and what's a full stop? When do you? I mean, it's kind of hard to. It seems like it'd be hard to give up, being detached attached to how something that you deem very important turns out?
Yeah, you find ways to stay in the moment and to stay in what your inner, who you are. And it's something you practice, and you keep realizing when you are attached, and you keep letting it go. It's like that, for me anyway, and there's probably more ways to answer this and more ways to do this. And for me, it's like when you're meditating, that thought comes and grabs you, right? And then you realize, let it go and come back to the breath. It's like, yeah, I'm not saying you won't recognize it, you don't notice it, and you don't whatever, but if that is going to drive you, that result's going to drive you so much that you can't be in the moment, then it's going to defeat the purpose. It's like going out and trying to play golf for the score versus actually being there for the swing. And the same is true for work. If I'm so worked up about the financial result for the year that I can't pay attention to the people around me and I can't pay attention to the world around me, what's going on, it's going to be counterproductive. So I think it's something that had to be practiced, to recognize when I'm getting there and let it go, and the results are going to take care of itself. I'm going to take care of what my action plan says to do today. Sometimes things will come in the way I planned, sometimes they won't. I keep taking action. I keep taking these actions, and I let the results take it. Now I may change actions depending on, it's been 2 years, and that I'm going to change course a little bit because those actions aren't working. But a lot of times we have to be able to continually take action without immediate gratification of that result to get the result we want. But residing in that's one of the reasons meditation is so important. It's residing in the present moment and recognizing, being aware of when we get pulled away, and then being able to let it go. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying it's very, very powerful, very useful. Okay? Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, just because it's come up a couple of times. This is something that I was dealing with even this morning. So I wrote in my journal before I drove down this morning, and the thing I wrote about was kind of what we're talking about right now, and kind of my feeling of coming to this program. And let me find this real quick. So I just said I'm feeling a little bit anxious for living together. I think it stems more from a fear I need to come away with a bright idea or a business or centered on an outcome of people's opinions. I need to focus on the process and the insights. And so it was kind of that. It was like I was having anxiety and fear of needing to get a result, needing to, and I think part of it too is reading something where it was talking about, tomorrow's like a big day, and like if you don't come up with this great business plan or this whatever. And so when I was focusing on that, or the fear of doing a vision board and feeling stupid or whatever, if I can detach myself and just know that I'm here and I'm working towards my greater goals, maybe not the daily thing or tomorrow's thing or whatever, but just really more emphasizing the process.
Well, and being detached from the result may be more important than the result. Because it's like the billionaire that's not happy. He's so attached to it. He can't even enjoy it once they get it. And you may already already gotten it and not just fully accepted it. You may already be there, too. It isn't, nobody has to have any, realizing that you're on a good course and you're on a good path and you're around and things are going great is a total touchdown. And you come up with a few more things, great. But, realizing, being able to be present and be grateful and be happy and be right now, what a gift. And if there's more results that you want to get, I think it's a better way to go about them, too. But realizing that just because I don't hit that million mark or whatever it is, am I going to reside my whole life's happiness on that? Why? It's a choice. It doesn't have to be. There's a lot of poor people that are happy. And I'm not, I think you can have, I mean, I said this last time, I'll say it again. I think you can have it all. I'm about having affluence, influence, happiness, presence. I mean, I think you can have it all. And certainly I don't think it's, the best game plan is to wait until you have those things that culture has told you makes you worthy before you take a breath and go, ah. Because culture's going to tell you you're not doing enough when you get there. Culture's going to say, oh, you should be giving away. You should be, you should be, starting a university. Culture's going to tell you something else,
Well, it also just feels like it's super self-defeating, right? When you're so focused on what that result may be, you end up, I do, talk myself out of doing anything.
Well, it's just like your business in brokerage. If you're just about the fee, people smell it on you.
Yeah.
But if you're about service and just providing a service and helping somebody, yeah, you want your fee. Of course you do. But if that's all every phone call is about, or everything you do, it doesn't work. You're too attached to the result. How many deals have you worked on you haven't been paid for?
That have been completed, none.
Well, I mean,
I've worked on it.
how many
It's a
haven't
deal
even
that
been
I've
completed?
worked
A lot,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And if you were so attached to the result that those things wouldn't even let you go and do anymore, oh, fuck that, I ain't calling. I did that deal, didn't even come together. I worked on that deal for 2 years. I'm not doing that. Is not going to be a reinforcing mindset for your business, because most transactions don't come together, probably. I mean, as you get better and better, more and more, that probably gets, less true, but for certainly in Emron's case, most transactions don't come together. So if you're attached to the result of the transaction and how you're going to feel at the end of that day and who you're going to be, you're not going to feel very good, and you're not going to be someone I want to be around, probably. But if you can set yourself up to the vision, right, of it, and who you are as a person of service or whatever that is, then you're able to take those day-to-day hits while you're still working for the bigger vision. And I'll guarantee you that the broker you want to work with is not the broker that gets all upset on every deal that he doesn't get paid, and that's all you hear about. Right? Oh, Jesus. 75 hours, no, 74 hours on that thing, But that's detached from the result, letting it go. Anything else?
That becomes a hard thing when you're fresh into it, right? You have bills piling up, you have debt piling up. Student loans are calling and saying, hey, you gotta start paying, car payments gotta be made, rent's due, and you're looking at, all those deals that don't come together, and you're like, shit.
So what's going to be the most productive mindset?
Well, where I've fallen is it almost becomes paralyzing.
Yeah.
That all of that stuff starts racking up, and you're looking at it, and you're like, why am I even doing? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why not go be a server again and make whatever money a month and actually see it coming in? Or why not go get a part-time job? Or why not do all that kind of stuff? Why am I letting it rack up and be difficult?
So if you come from that and you're being what's the word? You're being nervous, you're being skeptical, you're being worried, those kind of things. Is that going to be helpful to your day-to-day transactions and make the transactions more likely to come together or less?
Less.
Yeah. And if you can be comfortable, safe, generous, grateful, confident, and that's the being. If you can be those things despite having all that stuff go on, is that going to be more useful? And all those other things may be real, but it's useful to say, if I can be my inner purpose and I can be of service right now, and I can take the actions, I still take the actions to help people, then the results will take care of themselves. And you got to pay your bills, we know that, right? So there's some thing there, but that's right in the wheelhouse of how do I let that go? How do I stay in the present moment and stay in the life of service? People can feel it, man. It's just a different vibe to the universe than this has got to go down by 5. This has got to go down, or whatever it is. I'm not gonna, listen, I can't afford to spend any more time with you because I've gotten this many hours in and it's not going to pay. That's not going to be someone that somebody wants to work with. Now, someone like that may make it. You probably know people like that have made it. They get and they just happen to be good at it. But it won't be the most productive, and it certainly won't be the mindset that makes you happiest. So recognize those feelings. Thanks for sharing. Let them go. Keep coming back to your purpose. Come back to your business plan. Come back to, okay, what's next to do? And keep letting. So as those thoughts come up, it's just like the meditation. Just thanks for sharing. Let them go. Thanks for sharing. Let them go. So not being attached to that either. Great. Thank you.